A happy family makes a happy child. I've hardly seen any family, any broken family where the child is doing excellent. It's very rare to find that. We know all intervention makes magic, right? It creates magic. You just see the change in the child. If we start early and if you have a doubt, act on it right now. Don't wait. It is difficult. I'll be lying if I say it's an easy journey. It's not an easy journey. If the school management thinks, yes, I'm pro inclusion, I want inclusion to happen, inclusion will happen. And we have seen it happen in so many schools.
Hello everyone, welcome back to India Autism Center podcast. The trusted space for meaningful conversations, discussions, as well as impactful insights and practical guidance on neurodevelopmental care, autism awareness, and primarily empowerment of community. I'm your host for this session, Pooja Datta, and today we will be discussing a very important topic that nowadays, it is very challenging as well as relevant. Yes, we will be talking about the typical life of an atypical. To discuss on this topic and to give us more insights, we have with us Ms. Ranjana Chakraborty. She is an RCI registered special educator with years of experiences in providing dignity-based care and interventions to individuals in the spectrum. Hello, Ranjana ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you in our podcast. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Ma'am, you have started your journey as a special educator and you have a special interest in autism care.
Yeah.
We all know that. So how does your professional journey align with autism care?
See, I am on this journey of autism, I think, way back from 2011 with my son's diagnosis. And later on, I went ahead and did the special education, what was required to get the RCI training and all. Yeah, that's how the journey has basically started. So now I'm practicing as a therapist and I'm working with families and individuals on the spectrum. So yeah, that has been the journey.
So ma'am, your approach is play-based and you also incorporate more expressive strategies when you're working with individuals in the spectrum. So for you, how would an effective early intervention look like that is different from the traditional therapy that individuals get?
See, if I speak about an effective early intervention, then definitely for autism, it should be focusing on communication, on joint attention. It should be focusing on the social reciprocation, social interaction. And this all needs to be done in the social environment with the child. And effective early intervention will be one in which it is child mediated, where the child enjoys the process, where it is play based. So child maybe doesn't have an inkling also that therapy is happening, but therapy just happens because there's a fluidity in the process. Early intervention, we have to keep in mind the child's need. If the child has specific needs, that needs to be addressed. We have to keep in mind the parents' needs, what the parents are struggling with. And I think that needs to be addressed. It can't be like, okay, I know I'm the therapist, I know the best, and this is what the family needs. At times, we have to be very, very careful in deciding and thinking because the child should be mediating the therapy and also the parents, what they need. Accordingly, at least we have to give them something so that they know how to handle the child, they know how to manage the child. I think early intervention also needs to be not only therapy, it needs to be done in the environment so that whatever therapy is happening in the clinic setting or wherever in the therapy center, it needs to go to the real environment and needs to be translated to the real environment. I think also to have a good early intervention, you need good, knowledgeable therapist. That is important because if a therapist is not there to guide you through the process, if the therapist is not working on the parents, knowledge, parents don't know, right? How to deal. They don't know much about autism. So we, as therapists, we need to help the family with the knowledge, with the know-hows. They know the know-how about the child, right? They
Hmm.
know the child because they know him best for that matter. So we have to, it's a teamwork basically between the family, the therapist, the child, and later when the school comes in or wherever the typical places that the child is going to, it's supposed to be a teamwork between all of these. And I think that makes a very effective early intervention.
Before we jump into the next question, please have a look at who we are.
Imagine a space designed not just to care for individuals with autism, but to empower them. A place where knowledge grows, support flourishes, and possibilities expand. This is India Autism Center. It is built to redefine how we approach autism. Through education, research, and community-driven initiatives, we create an environment where individuals with autism can thrive. Samavesh, our residential campus, is designed for individuals with autism to live, learn, and grow with dignity and independence. It is more than just a place to stay. It is a space to belong. Manan, our training academy, prepares professionals to provide specialized care. Through structured programs, we equip individuals with the skills to support neurodivergent communities with confidence and compassion. Khoj, our research division, is dedicated to advancing our understanding of autism. Through data-driven studies and collaborative research, we work towards shaping the future of neurodiversity.
Coming back to the podcast, ma'am. So you rightly mentioned that early intervention is a teamwork. So can you please give your insights on this, that how does this effective early intervention, it leads to the social inclusion of the child rather than secluding the child or isolating the child from the society?
See, the moment the diagnosis happen, what becomes the focus of any family is the intervention, is the therapy. And therapies happen in secluded setups, right? Therapy happens in clinics, therapy happens in therapy centers. But I feel the best intervention will happen if the early intervention and the social inclusion happens hand in hand. So to give you an example, for instance, so therapy is happening. Child is doing whatever occupational therapy, child is going for special education, child is doing whatever therapy is needed. But as a parent, I'll make it a point that my child will kind of go to the local park that is in my community. If I live in a complex, in a community complex, there are groups, kids playing in the play zone. I'll send my kid there, because if only therapy is not sufficient, if it's not translated in the real life for this child, and you will get to see also how your child is doing in the real environment. So those shouldn't be I would say compromised. So it shouldn't be like, okay, I have a therapy class so today, so I can't take my child to the evening play play dates. That shouldn't be compromised. So that we need to keep in mind, and that we I think is important. Also, I think what is happening, what we should be targeting, coming to that point with how you introduced me, it is coming to this point that we are looking at for the individual doing the typical things in typical ways with typical people in typical places. So that's how it makes a typical life for the atypical. Now, say for instance, like say clinical settings. So clinical settings, what happens? There's a lot of skill building work, and therapists do different kinds of work with the child. So okay, that is fine. We are trying to, especially early intervention, when we're trying to explore what the kid is really good at, what interests the kid, what are the skills, interests. We're trying to explore. We explore, we get to know, right? If we get to know, we do more. We know more, we do more, right? So once we know more, and for instance, if I know that my child is, say for instance, really interested in swimming, so what I can do is I can shift it from typical therapy. So I make him part of a swimming club. He's a member of a swimming club. He goes there swimming. He has co-swimmers with him. He has timed races with other swimmers, and he goes marketing with his mom to buy some swimming costumes. So he goes, he watches swimming videos, diving videos. He uploads his own videos. So you are opening up the world for him, and it's not like just keeping the child busy. So I have my child in the role of a swimmer. So I expand that role. And that's how the inclusion will happen in the community. And where maybe as parents, don't need to think also, okay, I did this activity, what activity do I do next? Because this keeps on going on the parent's mind. I have to keep him engaged, I have to keep him busy, and all these things go on in a mind. But I think if we take the second step, it becomes easier for family also to guide the child. Child has a better life, more confident, more competent.
Very nicely said, ma'am. The transition of from seclusion to inclusion,
Yeah.
that was really very nicely done. To add on to this, ma'am, I would like to know, or rather, it is very relevant for the working parents. So when the parents are working, they hardly get time for themselves. So what do you suggest, or what dilemma do you suggest can be overcome when the parents, they have kids in the spectrum and both parents are working? They feel guilty about it. So ma'am, please, your kind words on this.
I think it is a dilemma. It is difficult because the child needs, I would say, an anchor person in their life. If both parents are working, if a single parent is there and that person needs to work, one person needs to be there. It can be, I have so many families where the grandmothers have stepped in. Maternal grandmother, paternal grandmother. I have so many families. I have one family specifically where the aunt stepped in. So some key figure has to take the onus, has to take the responsibility of taking it forward. It can be a caregiver who has been with the family for a very long time. But someone, a key figure, needs to be there with the child so that the child feels the connection. Because what happens with families where both parents are working, um, caregivers change every other day, and autism. Some kids with autism face difficulty with that daily. Every month or every 6 months, she's going away and a new person is coming. And we know that's not good for any child. Forget autism. It's not good for any child.
Right.
So that needs to be kept in mind. So I do understand the parents' stance of we need a job and we need to do, but I think also we have a responsibility towards a kid. So do your best, and the time that you are giving, that needs to be full time. You can't do reduction on that. So say for instance you're home by 6, so that 6 to 11 o'clock is your child's time. You can't take office phone calls then. So that is very, very important. I would feel that somebody needs to take an onus, because the child is not there to say, okay, now here I am and take care. The child is communicating in a different manner that I need that attention. And that is, I think, our responsibility as parents to step in and do the needful.
True. Ma'am, in Indian scenario, for an effective early intervention, what are the barriers that families they face when they are trying to put in the child for early intervention as well as for inclusion?
Barriers, it's like a mountain full of barriers, I would say. The biggest barrier, I think, is the mindset, the social mindset. So the society as a whole feels that these people can't do, these people are not supposed to belong with us, they're supposed to be segregated, they're supposed to be there only. So that's the biggest, I think, the blockade that we parents face when we are trying to do the inclusion. So many families run pillar to post just to get a school. It's so difficult getting a school. We generally see school is like, inclusion, which is kind of easy, I would say, is in the playgroup section till the kindergartens. The moment it is coming to a slightly higher classes like class 1, 2 onwards, it's a struggle getting the right kind of school, or any school for that matter, where the child will get the support that they need. So the biggest barrier is the social mindset and the society. In addition to that, the family's mindset. So many a times it happens, the diagnosis has happened, or maybe red flags are there. And so some family members say, okay, wait and watch. That's the worst thing that you can do with your kid, because you are losing out on very, very important intervention, early intervention time, I would say, which would really make an impact on the child's life. Like I get families as with red flags, kids as less as 13 months, 15 months. And we know all intervention makes magic, right? It creates magic. You just see the change in the child. If we start early, and if you have a doubt, act on it right now. Don't wait. I think that's the worst thing you can do to your kid, to wait and watch. And I think that's one of the barriers that is there. Second barrier, I would say, is no or low knowledge, both of parents as well as therapists. So parents don't know, because kids don't come with a handbook on autism, right? So parents don't know about it. So parents need to be guided by the therapist. Parents need to know that what's the best way that will help my child the best. That is there definitely. And if the therapist, especially the frontline workers who are working with kids, if their knowledge is not there, then we see so many cases where the early years has been wasted doing nothing, and the child has not really progressed up to their potential, what they were capable of. More barriers, if I can think of, is which I can definitely think of, is uh, parents having this understanding, and very common, very, very common. If my child can't talk, that means my child can't understand. That's the biggest barrier. Because if I think he's not understanding, I will not communicate to him anything. I'm not talking to him. I'm not engaging with him. I'm not kind of, in any way kind to connect with my kid, because I'm under this assumption this guy knows nothing. He's not registering anything. But we know kids understand almost everything. I would say they understand everything, provided we put it in a way that they understand. The moment this shift changes, we see there's a lift, there's an enhancement of the child's skills and capabilities. Barriers in terms of, like we're in Kolkata, so metropolitan based intervention therapy centers, and there is a lack in the suburbs. We get families from Gangtok, Purulia, whole of Ghatal area. Lot of Bangladesh families used to come. Now it's gone down. But then a lot of the what should I say, the it's very city based kind of. The suburbs are really lacking on the services. And when we are doing therapy, we are doing intervention, we are doing so much of traveling, we have to live in a hotel for intervention. It takes a toll on the finances. And running to a million places. Where do I go? What are the right places? What is needed for my child? Do I run to everywhere? What is needed and what I want to explore and try is two different things. So families need to take a call on that. That what is really needed and what I really want to explore also in addition to that. So what's the key intervention? I need to know. And for that, I think that will help is to, overcome that barrier would be getting in touch with someone, a key professional who knows, who is knowledgeable, who can guide you accordingly till you know the process and till you are there. I think that would be helpful. So yeah, these are the barriers.
And that is also one of the major purpose of our podcasts, ma'am. Parents watching there, so they are listening to the guests like you. Even they will be empowered as to which direction to go.
Right.
Because we know most of the parents are hassled.
Yeah.
So this is well said, ma'am. So when a diagnosis of autism is given, it is easier said than done. Being a mother, even you can understand the dilemma, the conflict the parents go. What would you suggest to those parents, to those new parents whose children they have been diagnosed?
See, take your time. So diagnosis has happened. Parents need time to let the diagnosis settle down. It's easier said than done, but give yourself the time that you need. I think what generally happens when we start the journey of therapy and intervention, what generally happens is uh, parents, especially I'm talking the primary caregiver, mostly being the mother, what happens, there's a lot of input from the therapist, what to do, what not to do, and many other stuff is there. Uh, for as a in this whole journey, the child shouldn't lose the mother. So what generally happens, the mother, because the mother is doing all the therapy work all the time, she becomes a therapist at times. It's all the time doing therapy, doing this, doing that. This is the supposed to be done. This is supposed to be done, and that connect with the child, with somewhere I feel gets lost. And it's a loss for the child because anyways the child has so less relationships, kind of it's difficult for him to forge relationships around him, and this my mother, and then suddenly she becomes only a therapist. So balance between all the therapy work and as a mother needs to be there. That I think is vital. Also I think when we are talking about autism and the intervention and everything, somewhere the childhood goes in the background, and nobody talks about enjoying the child, playing with the child, just spend time with him, talk to him on a person to person. We don't do that. We are talking about him. We talk through the child. We talk to everyone about the child, but we don't talk to the child. Change the stance. Talk to your child. Connect on a person to person level. I keep on telling parents that when you're bed at night, just tell him, you had a hard day. I also had a hard day. But tomorrow is a new day. And we'll take it forward from there. Have that talk with them. Also, in this, it's very common, especially when we are doing the early intervention, very common parents come and say, like, ma'am, he's doing this thing, So, is it because of his autism? So, looking at your child only through only through the lens of autism, I think that needs to take a change. So many times it happens that something is been, commented as a behavioral problem. And I sometimes say, is everything okay? Is the child okay medically? And it turns out that it was a medical issue and it was not a behavioral issue. So because all the time families are thinking that this is a behavioral issue and this is something that needs to be dealt with. In addition to that, I would say presume competence. My child can do this. He can. And I'm going to believe that. And as I believe that, as I give him more chances to try out new things, I would say healthy stretches, the child does more, and then we see more improvement, and we go to the next goal. I think as a new parent, for any parent, whoever's child is diagnosed, I think the major thing, and it's a very common thing that needs to be kept in mind, parents need to have their common sense intact. The logical reasoning should be there. You will be said 1,000 things, you will hear 1,000,000 things around you, but your common sense should be there to decide, to think, is this what makes sense? So not everything that I am being said I will run after it. I will consult people, I will talk, maybe I'll take a second opinion, but I will think on it and then I will proceed, because it's not only your life. You are responsible for your kid, and the child is dependent on you. So think logically before you take any drastic step which will impact your child's life.
So, ma'am, these words are coming from a professional who is also a mother of a child with autism. So we really see that confidence, and we really see that what you are saying, you actually practice that.
Yeah.
So that will be very rightly conveyed to the parents. It will be really motivating and empowering for them, because these are not only words, these have been tried and tested.
Yeah.
So thank you, ma'am. Related to this, we often speak about mothers. We know mothers are the primary caregivers. The trauma, the burnout they go through, that is immense. At times, we do not speak about fathers. Maybe because of our tradition, Indian culture, that fathers, they have to be very strong, or rather they cannot show their emotions. So your take on it?
I think fathers are they are the spine of any family. I have so many families. I will not say the numbers are very high wherein the mother is a primary caregiver, but I have families where fathers, single fathers, are bringing up kids on the spectrum. It becomes difficult because they're also they're also getting the money in, like they're also working, and also they are a single parent. It becomes very challenging. It becomes very challenging. That's when the other support system needs to come in to support parents. I personally feel sometimes fathers don't express it so much as the mothers do. Like mothers are quick to react, quick to cry, quick to respond in certain ways. Fathers, I'm not saying all fathers because I have had families where the mother was strong and the father was kind of breaking down in the session. But generally, I've seen the fathers are kind of, rock solid. And behind that rock solid, we know that they are also trembling and they're also worrying and they're also kind of thinking the way forward. They play an immensely important role as for the mothers uh, you know um, mental health well-being is concerned. Like the other day only a family came and they were talking, and the mother was like, he hardly does anything with the child, I'm the one who is doing it. So I just asked the mother, so if you are having a bad day and you have lost it, shouting at your child, does he step in and say, go take a break? She's like, yeah, he does that. And it's okay. Sometimes families need to have balance it out, and it's different for different families function differently, right? So sometimes the father is a fun factor, mother is a strict person, mother does all the education stuff, father does all the social, father is taking for the swimming classes, father is taking for the skatings, and father is going for the mall visits, father is the fun guy. All the rumble tumble games that we're doing, father is that person who is doing all of that, and the mummy is like, okay, I'll do tabletop work with you. So I think that balance needs to be there. A happy family makes a happy child. I've hardly seen any family, any broken family where the child is doing excellent. It's very rare to find that. Kids struggle where one of the parent is missing, and it's because we know, right, it's hard for any kid, and here we are talking of kids on the spectrum. So it really makes an impact if the family is together, family stays together, family enjoys together. And yes, we go through bad times, we go through good times, we are in it together. So family as an unit makes a lot of difference.
To the parents watching there, if you feel that you're learning something new from this video, please do not forget to hit the like button. Ma'am, there are many parents who fear that inclusion, this concept of inclusion, they are sometimes against it. They come and say that it may harm the child or it may lead to more social segregation. What would you suggest to those parents?
I would say it is very difficult. It's not easy. It's easier said than done. Um, and um, and when as parents we are kind of on this path of inclusion, the moment we're entering this path, we know how difficult the way ahead is. So our mindset is there. We know, right, that the way ahead is difficult. We know that. So the first thing that I think really works for families is start small, chewable portions. So I will not target the Mount Everest at first. I'll target small things at first. So, say for instance, so if you are talking about inclusion, so I'm going to my local shopkeeper, my local grocery store. First day I go, I have my son along with me. I go, I order something, he adds on something, and I buy, I come back. And this goes on. Then, so I'm taking it step by step. Then I go again and I speak again. I go. He gives the list or he orders the stuff, and I'm just standing along there. Maybe I add on something and I'm just standing there. And he's the person who is taking it forward. By this time, he knows the shopkeeper, he knows the shop, he knows where to stand, or where are the items kept, so that he can see and he can choose. And once that is done, again a few days we do this, maybe weeks, maybe months, and then we take it forward. I'm outside the shop and he's inside and he's ordering. And then maybe I'm at home and he's come out and he's ordering. And when we are doing this process, we need to be mindful that he goes kind of to the similar kind of places in the community. So we need to be very aware of what are the community resources in and around us. So which are the shops which are kind of good shops that we can try exploring this? Which are the swimming clubs where I can explore this? Which are the activity centers which I can explore this? Which are the summer camps, small summer camps, summer vacations? Instead of just going for therapy, go to these summer camps where you can really explore. This is what we are talking at the very beginning also. Explore the spaces where the child can go, and in small crowds, three, music teacher with 3 kids. So the kid gets to experience it in small groups. And that social competency will enhance for that kid. And then only the child will be more, kind of ready to go in a bigger group of, say, 10 or 15, and slowly it increases. And when we are doing this, when, say, for instance, like coming back to the grocery that I was giving an example. So when I am doing that thing with I'm doing this exploration of the community resource with my child, with my son or my daughter, what will I do? What am I doing? I am bringing in more people in my son's life, right? And more relationships are being forged here. And when this is happening, when do we know it's a success? One day you go to the shop and somebody asks, so where's your son? Maybe by his name. And that's when maybe he goes to that swimming club and he does this excellent drive-through, and he doesn't go one day, and one of the fellow swimmers come like, he's not there, missing him. So when they miss you, you have done it, that you are a part of it. So this building up the community also, along with increasing my child's competency, I will also build up on the community so that they meet up, and then this, it goes better, it goes higher.
True, ma'am. On this line, at times parents, they are also human beings. They do not like people staring at the child.
Mm-hmm.
There are some harsh words, and the parents, they take it to themselves and they avoid going further. Parents, they come and see.
See, it will always be there. If we think as parents that the stares will disappear and the hard words will possibly go away, it's not gonna happen overnight. It's gonna happen. And that's the reason I said that when we start on the journey of inclusion, we know that this is what we are heading for. But what is the goal? What is the goal? Our goal is that my child should get a typical life like other people. He should be getting the things that people aspire for life. He should be getting relationship. He should be having belongingness in his life. He should also be contributing back to the society. He should also be, be a part of what we are and doing all the good things that we are doing, right? So if that's what I am targeting, that he should be having a meaningful life where he is contributing back to the society with his ability, with his skills, with his talents, if this is what my aim of life is, then what happens, I think, are all in the peripherals. And we somehow have to be there or kind of work on ourselves that we are able to not think of it and not worry about those too much. It is definitely going to be happening. But we also have to remember that if we segregate them, if they keep, definitely, then no looks will come, no hard stares will come, no comments will come. Everything will be fine as, say, per se. But what will happen? The moment I am putting someone in the uh, in the uh, in the social inclusion, if I put him in the community, what is happening? It's a two-step process. What is happening? One is my child is getting access to a model-rich society. We all learn through imitation. So the child is in a group where people are doing stuff and his social skills are increasing, his generalization skills are increasing. So definitely it's a yes in terms of competency development for my son. On the other hand, how is it impacting the society? It's very important for the society also. It's not only that people with disability are the gainers. How is the society developing or increasing as a society? Society doesn't mean only the able-bodied people, right? So how the society, the whole empathy that, okay, there are people who are different, but different doesn't mean less. And different, they are different, but they are capable of doing so many stuff, so many things that they're really good at. And the moment they see that, maybe one sees it and he tells other 5 people, no, I know he's different, but he's excellent on his keyboard. You should listen to the Mozart that he plays. And when somebody says that, you change the mindset of another 5. And what is happening? You are changing the narrative of disability. And if we do that enough, if visibility is not there, if people are not out there in the society, then how are we expecting there to be a change in the narrative? Then the same narrative will keep on going. So we have to take that step forward. We have to take that step forward and, push it forward. It is difficult. It is, I'll be lying if I say it's an easy journey. It's not an easy journey. But we have to take the step forward and do it. And I am pretty sure, maybe not 100%, but we'll land up somewhere, right? We'll do something.
And it is happening actually.
It is happening.
And that confidence, it is also not only apparent in the individual, but also her or his parents. They are also so confident with the child.
Yeah.
Peers, we say, they are very small when children with special needs are going to school. Peers play a very important role. So how would these peers be sensitized? They be educated from the very instance so that even they can empower each other in the classroom.
See, when a child, there can be different methods to go about doing it, and different models have been used in and around what we are seeing right now. They do kind of a talk with the kids. They sit them across and they tell them about being different and being more accepting of other people. So that is one method where they do that stuff, which is done more formally. That is the formal setup. There is another method that is very natural. So I have a classroom and I have one kid who is on the spectrum and he's different, and maybe he comes, sometimes sits, sometimes he walks around, he does his stuff when he's asked to, and he's being in the class. There might be a shadow teacher, or maybe there is a helper teacher in the classroom who's kind of helping. Peers can be used, they are an asset if they're used correctly by the school. So it can be, the teacher can say, okay, how about y'all make a group here and y'all present this topic. So maybe the kid on the spectrum is excellent with presenting something, and the other kid works on the formation of what needs to be said, or they are working maybe on a project together. So one does the drawing, another does the coloring. So making them work in teams, it helps. What I have seen with my experience, what really helps is when kids are together, they are sharing the same space and they are together from an early age, they reach out to help without being said to help. Instinctively, that's what the kids do. They reach out because that's the human essence of helping each other. When things become, okay, no, he's separate, that's when the issues come in. But if we see peers, very tiny kids, 3 years, they're in school, 4 years, they are sitting and one gets up like sit down. Okay, the paper is, maybe the fan is on, the paper is, and then they put the pencil box there so that it's easier for the, it's tiny things you see in the classroom happening. So the peers know the child so well. So that's the reason I say, when families visit me and sometimes they say, no, do you think we should repeat the classroom because maybe academics is becoming a problem, and especially if in their classes like 3, 4, if that is happening, I strongly say it's not a good idea, because the child will lose the peer support that's with him. They know him. They know what works for him, what are the trigger points. Better not to mess that up. And they can, and I've seen they like, yeah, he's different, but he's ours. So that feeling of belongingness is there, and it stays till adult life. It stays. Very important role of peers.
Yes.
Very important role. And I wish families could use it more, and have more relationships surrounding that. That would help.
Ma'am, in the present scenario, based upon the different needs of individuals, do you feel that inclusion or inclusive schools, they work for each and every individual who is in the spectrum?
See, when we are talking of a school setup, now I don't belong to a school, so I'm not talking from a school's, not as, I'm not talking for the school, but what I've seen how schools have been operating is, see, they have a school to run. This we have to remember, and this we have to keep in mind. Even as parents, we need to keep this in mind. So I am thinking as a parent only about my kid, and the school needs to think about maybe 200 kids. So definitely, it will not be like things will be tailor cut according to my son. It will not be. But what we need from the school, we need the support where the parents get to teach, not teach, parents get to talk to the teachers. Parents get to reach out and have a conversation with the teachers. If the child needs any specific, sometimes the child is really facing it, difficulty doing the social navigation. And nowadays they have come up with, it's a thing that is very on right now in many schools, where shadow teachers are being put in, where it helps in the social navigation, though it has its disadvantages also, where the child's ability to work on their impulse, child's ability to take decisions gets a hit. But yeah, that's another way to do it. Don't expect therapy to happen at school. Don't. School is not for therapy. School is for the social interaction with other kids. School is a mini society, I would say. So many families go with the expectation that, okay, my school is going to look after my therapy. If they're doing that, that's kind of an add-on or maybe an extra add-on that might not be needed also. That's your work, background. You should be getting a child ready with the therapy so that the child is able to stay, be there in the school, and continue in the school. And yes, there are self-declared inclusive schools who say that, yes, we are inclusive schools. I would say it's a mixed response.
True.
I will not say any school is doing a brilliant job and there are no it's all good stories and there is no failures. I will never say that. It's kind of a mixed bag, I would say. Schools are definitely making an effort to pull it up. Definitely more schools can come on board. More schools need to come on board, I feel. For that matter, many schools are there who are inclusive, but they don't say we're inclusive. For that matter, they're doing a better job, if you see. Small strength, 2 teachers in a classroom, and they're doing an excellent job with not going overboard. Okay, we are an inclusive school and we have a resource room and we have a psychologist and we have this, blah. Nothing is there. They just have that and they're doing excellent job. because somewhere small, because the school is small, it is able to give that individual attention. It's not about inclusive school, it's about the school structure and the mindset of the management who wants to run the school. If the school management thinks, yes, I'm pro inclusion, I want inclusion to happen, inclusion will happen. And we have seen it happen in so many schools. If one kid goes in the spectrum, and if he's a success, you're bound to see more kids coming in the same school, because then the school feels confident. Yes, we can take this, we can do this.
We are going in the right way.
We are going the right way. So I think it also with the schools, chewable portions. I'm starting off, I take 1-2 kids and I do it. And I see how is it going. Oh, I can do it. Take on more. And then take it forward. So it helps. And I hope, I really hope more schools come on board, because kids, with all this excellent early intervention right now, kids are really coming up. And then, it's kind of, it falls flat on the face if they don't get what they really need, right? So I wish schools would come up more and do it.
Yes, ma'am. Before winding up, we would like to have a quick round of rapid fire with you. So I'll be asking, or I'll be giving a set of statements. You'll have to say whether it's true or false. And you can also tell us one-liner.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Inclusion should not be the reward at the end of therapy.
No. Inclusion and therapy goes hand in hand. So whatever therapy is happening, it needs to be translated in real life.
A late autism diagnosis in adolescence or adulthood requires a different emotional and social support plan.
For sure. Yeah. If a late diagnosis is happening, then different management needs to be there. Better understanding of the person needs to be there. Joint strategy planning along with that individual needs to be there. That needs to be dealt with. And no preaching, more understanding of that person's condition needs to be there. Yeah.
Therapies that don't connect to real life rules may build skills, but they rarely build self-worth.
Simulation helps in skill building, but functionality lies in the real life, in the typical spaces.
Community inclusion benefits everyone.
Yep, like I mentioned, it's a win-win for both sides. People on the spectrum, they have their skill building and the generalization up, and people of the community, they know more. They know, yes, this people on the spectrum can do it, and yes, they can. So it's a win-win situation for both the groups.
Children with autism don't need to be kept busy.
No, they don't need to be kept busy, but we need to explore their areas of interest and explore them in different social situations with typical people doing typical things in typical places.
Ranjana ma'am, thank you so much for your deep clarity, conviction, and commitment in autism care.
Thank you.
To the viewers watching there, if you feel that this podcast matters, if you feel that this podcast has been really insightful and have given you practical guidance, please do share this podcast. Please hit the like button and subscribe to our video channel. Until we come with the next podcast video, please see the video that is popping up on your screen. Thank you so much.